Hey, don't look now, but Gone Girl, that New York Times bestseller, is being filmed here in Missouri. There are people who want the Missouri Film Tax Credit Program reauthorized, including Dr. James Dufek. He's professor of mass media at Southwest Missouri State. Good morning, Professor. Thanks for joining us here on KTRS.
Glad to be with McGraw. It's southeast Missouri. I'm right below you. I'm in Cape Girardeau, 2 hours south.
I apologize. What did I say?
Southeast, yeah.
I'm sorry. Southeast Missouri State.
Right.
Okay, so Gone Girl was filmed here. So did they get tax credits to film here?
That's correct. They did. They finished shooting today. They've been here. They've been scouting since April. They started shooting the latter part of August, and they finished today. They moved to New York tomorrow morning.
How much money did they spend while they were here?
They're estimating $10 million spent in Cape Girardeau over the past few months, and if the tax credits go through, the Department of Economic Development will reward them about $2.5 million back in tax credits. So we're looking at an infusion of about $7.5 million in this area, and that includes of 140 members of the crew, and several came from the St. Louis market. So that money will stay in the state of Missouri.
How long did they film here?
They said they have a 6-week shooting schedule, but they've been here for months. The location's been here for several months. Some of the production crew will stay later just to clean up all the stuff that they've done. So six weeks of shooting, but probably 3 months of living.
It seems like. And this is a slow softball for you. It seems like if this tax credit is in place, Hollywood wants to make movies here.
Correct.
Why is that?
Because the incentive, we have to compete with every other state in the country. States like Louisiana and Georgia have an open-ended tax credit, meaning that people can come in and build that infrastructure and just stay, build studios, bring equipment, have crew members stay because that tax incentive is always there. Georgia made $3.1 billion in media last year alone because there's no ceiling on it. Missouri, we have a $4.5 million ceiling on the tax credit for motion pictures and sound recordings. So it's an attractive thing, but when the money runs out, companies will look elsewhere.
So you want it to be open-ended then, right?
Correct. That's the goal. You know, I know it's not realistic at this point because every state is functioning differently. We just don't want it to decrease right now. We would love to see it open-ended, but the Missouri Motion Media Association, which is an advocate for the Film Commission, trying to educate our legislators on why it's so important. You think the tax credits, there's a lot of criticism about them, but it brings an infusion of money in, and we see that we could open it up. We could have a permanency of locations around the state that could invite big production companies to come in to do the major films as well as independents.
What do they tell you when you ask them, hey, we need this film tax credit?
When the companies ask us that?
No. When you tell the elected officials down in Jefferson City, what do they say as to the reason why we shouldn't have it?
Because our understanding is the DED wants to have a permanency. They want to have the tax credits going to a building that's going to be there, not the transients that will come in, make some entertainment, and then leave. They want to have something that's more permanent, that we have a building that's being refurbished, that we have companies that are coming in to build an infrastructure that will be here for a long period of time. That's their understanding of what a tax credit should be. And we understand that too, but we're saying that if we open-end this, we could have some permanency by people coming in, possibly building a studio, possibly building some infrastructure that will have a long-term effect for us.
Yeah. Jefferson City hates St. Louis and Kansas City, and they much prefer rural Missouri. Well, Winter's Bone was filmed in rural Missouri.
Correct.
Gone Girl was filmed down in Cape Girardeau.
Correct.
They're cutting off their nose to spite their face. Why wouldn't they do something to incentivize people to come to rural Missouri?
That's a good question for them. We've encouraged them. We had Gone Girl here. We had Kill Shot here in 2006 with Diane Lane, and that brought an infusion of money into Cape Girardeau. But up in the air with George Clooney's shot in St. Louis, they had a $4.1 million tax incentive rebate because it brought so much money to the state. They saw that the state, like a lot of states, got hit with, not having any more money, taxes going away, and they just pulled back on that tax credit. We know that we can educate them. It's just trying to encourage them not to drop this tax incentive, but increase it as well.
I have an idea for you. I have a guaranteed way for you to get this tax credit through. You ready?
Yep.
Get it passed through Kansas first.
Okay.
And then they can say, see, Kansas is doing it. We have to do it.
We've tried that with Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska. It doesn't seem to do a lot, but I'll try it again. All
right. Dr. James Dufek, professor of mass media, Southeast Missouri State. Bottom line, what's the tax credit now?
$4.5 million.
And of that $4.5 million, how much money can you directly attribute coming into Missouri for that? I mean, is it $20 million for the $4 million? Is it $10 million for the $4 million?
Yeah, it averages up to 30%. We can do the math. Right now, we're going to get $10 million out of Gone Girl with 2.5 going back. So that's 25% tax credit. They have to adjust some things, and I don't know that math formula. I've read all the stuff. So we're looking at $10 million just for this, and if we get another $20 million, that's going to be able to spend for the rest of the 2.4 that's going to be going back into the state. So that's our goal is to keep the money coming. For goodness sakes, don't, because legislators have talked about doing away with it altogether.
Right, which makes no sense to me.
No sense at all.
Because
no sense at all.
They have no problem giving Walmart a tax credit to move across the street, but heaven forbid we give a film company money to film here as opposed to, say, Nebraska.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Makes no sense.
No.
Dr. James Dufek, good luck. We're on your side.
Thanks very much. Appreciate the time.
You got it. Have a good day. Professor of Mass Media at Southeast Missouri State. He's also a board member of the Missouri Motion Media Association. Gone Girl, Winter's Bone, which, by the way, gave Jennifer Lawrence her start.
Oh, yeah.
In that movie.
Gone Girl is a great book too. I read it.
I'm not alled to read that book.
Why?
I'll tell you off the air. I can't even say publicly why I'm not allowed to read that book. 7:29. That's a story about the guy whose wife goes missing, and he's blamed for killing her. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is excellent.
7:30. Big 550.